Greetings, citizens. This is your Coalition Deadboys podcast coming right at you today. And for the second time, almost the second time this month, I am Matt.
I'm Nathan.
And we've got a fun little thing for you today. First and foremost, though, we want to thank everybody who's been listening. My channel's been getting hits.
Good.
So that's good.
Oh, and some people are
Patreon is slowly.
Ooh, my Patreon's Patreon now?
Well, I am.
Oh my gosh.
I have a Patreon
for some money.
For an additional $1. You can listen to some of my other games.
That's awesome. I like that.
And
I like that.
Death Head Taco Truck has a link. So,
yes, good.
And I plug the Death Head Taco Truck all the time. So, I want to thank everybody who's out there who is listening, and thank you very much for monthly paying me $1 to continue to listen to me. I really appreciate it. Other things, what I do want to report, SaltCon, not a huge hit, but
it's fun to go to.
Okay, I got halfway.
Halfway to what?
I got halfway. Well, for some reason, I don't want to talk smack about SaltCon because it is a lot of fun for those people who are really into it.
I liked SaltCon. SaltCon was okay.
Well, was
it amazing? No. But is it fun to go to? You betcha.
It is not a place, though, to go to look for new people looking to try new things.
Don't look for...
That is not what SaltCon is about.
But you can't pick up chicks if you're single.
SaltCon is a really great place, though, for people who are looking to move and play board games. Or if you've got a game,
or card games, it's almost like it's a.
I didn't see any card games. I was there.
Convention. Yeah. Oh, I saw a couple of card games. They're like, "Hey, man, you want to buy my card games?" I'm like, "Oh,
yeah."
And it was like, take Uno to the umpth degree, and it was a phenomenal game. I played it for like 7 minutes. I was like, "This is addictive." I wish I had a lot of adults in my house.
So the really cool thing though about SaltCon though, and this
they give a lot of plugs to a lot of great games.
Well, okay, well they do, and so the thing with me was I wasn't looking to step on any toes. I was just looking for the people who were just like sitting around and were looking bored as all get.
Oh, they just wanted to do something. Sure,
they wanted to do something, but they didn't exactly have anything there to do. Those were the people that I was looking for to say, and not in the game room, because if you do it in the game room, people get pissed, they come after you.
Really?
Well, yeah, if you're doing anything that isn't, like the mainstream. But if you're out in the...
out and about, yeah. There were several floors,
there are several floors.
For those who have never been to SaltCon.
Yeah, so you don't just want to go waving your, flag in front of their faces.
Yeah.
Because that's just not cool. You don't want to do that ever.
Right.
But again,
But there are people who would be interested to do something, yeah.
Well, but that was the thing. And this actually, it just happened out in the lobby, of all places.
Okay.
And there were people just sitting out, and they really were just sitting there. It was ho-hum, what do we do? And so I sat down. I didn't say a word, because I didn't have to. I sat down, I pulled out my stuff, and I just started filling out. I just started filling out one of my Savage character sheets. I started filling it out.
Right.
And 1, 2, 3 of them just zoomed in on me.
Gravitated. Oh, that's awesome.
And asked what I was doing. At which point I told them, again, I guess discretion really was, I guess it's a you will announce, you will get the word out louder by being quiet. I mean, it really was one of these moments where I wasn't flamboyant, I wasn't ostentatious, I wasn't selling, I was doing. That being said, though, I told them what I was doing and just said, "You want to do it too?" And all 3 of them said yes. And we actually did get a little game going.
Yeah.
Specifically, and now, but here's the best part. Here's what everyone's gonna love about this, because there is a time to be loud, and I had my Megaverse Ambassador T-shirt on.
Of course you did. I hope you did.
And so when the what do we want to call them? When the guard When the guard descended upon me to stop what I was doing, or they were questioning me, and they were like, "Sorry, so you can't run game." I stood, I showed them my shirt, and I said, "I can and I will." And they scattered. They were. I dispelled them.
Saltcon, what the crap is going on in their heads?
They wanted things that they had control over. Okay, look, I don't know what they were thinking. I really don't.
I don't know why you give
badges
to people who
But there is that time where you can stand and point and say, "Yes, I can, and yes, I will."
Holy smokes! And SolidCon's coming up soon, guys. It's
September. TimCon is the next one. TimCon is the next one. TimCon's in July. That's the one that's up in. That's the one that's just up in Provo, the Provo Convention Center. That's TimCon.
I would like to figure out when is that.
I got invited. I actually got invited to that.
You got invited. Where's my invite?
I went to SaltCon, and I got to. Oh, that was the other thing at SaltCon. I got to play in the live stream D&D game.
Ooh,
so I guess I should
fantastic.
be. I feel very honored. I do feel honored. I got to play a part in the live cast D&D game, and I got to run some of a Savage Rifts game. I actually got to show them how, and we actually got to go through the gameplay. But there's also, again, that moment where you realize, okay, he's a Megaverse ambassador. They dispersed the first time, but you also have to realize that they dispersed the first time to gain reinforcements. Because anybody who's ever been or seen or listened to one of my games knows that it never stays quiet long. We were laughing and having a really good time, and it was bothering everybody. So the second time they came to disperse, I actually did. But again,
oh my heavens!
But it still happened, and people still had a lot of fun.
I hope they
contact information and the like. And the other thing is wearing my Megaverse Ambassador T-shirt. I was on the live stream podcast for a D&D game wearing a Megaverse Ambassador T-shirt.
That's awesome. I kid you not.
I'm your in real life Auto G, Kevin.
There you go.
I can blend in with them down to a genetic level, and then spy on them. Yeah. Sabotage. Smell like sabotage.
Oh my heavens, that's funny.
Anyway, so that is the big report from SaltCon and the game. How's the game going?
My game?
I will give you the game. You can have the game report.
Oh, dude, it's going good. I learned some things. One of my players, he comes to me and he says, "I need you to be tougher." I'm like, tougher? Ho ho. And he's like, "You're doing great. There's great story, but the combat is wah wah." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Sometimes needs to be tougher.
Yeah, exactly. So, I still have some great ideas and some great storylines that are coming through, and I like that I've created a couple of threads in multiple directions. That the players is still somewhat of a mystery as to what's really going on in this fort. And they don't know exactly how everyone ties together necessarily. And I believe I've got an idea as to how it is all coming together. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to put in some tougher combat today. So so I'm excited.
There you go. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. And what else is a lot of fun is what we are going to discuss today. Something we've never approached before. And it's a really fun thing that a lot of people have probably heard about, but probably never dived into. Including myself. I've only ever done this once, so I don't really know that much about it. Today, it is all about, Chaos Earth. Before there were, because when in the established Rift settings, we have kingdoms, we have governments, we have empires, we have invaders, and all kind. Everyone is everything is established. We know where the vampires are, we know where the Zictics are, we know where the Coalition is, where the Magic Kingdom is, where the El Paso Empire is. We know where Archie's at. We know where all these people are, and that is Rifts. But Chaos Earth is
completely different. Imagine Golden Age technology. you've mastered everything. The sea, the lands, the space fair, the sky is yours to rule. And suddenly someone kicks out the table leg and the whole thing comes crashing down. Okay? And it's funny because like when you read through the history of the various world books on top of the Chaos Earth book, you read like that like in Russia, 80 years of snow. You see in South America, the jungles just take back themselves. The whole cities are just basically swallowed.
Which is why when you look into the South America book, there's like nothing. It's just like,
it's just like jungle. Like how many kingdoms are there? About it's like how many Argentina is a city now. Instead of a country, it's like a city state that they finally pushed back enough jungle to take back, and you're like, well, how did they get there, and what caused that? Who kicked out the table? It just seems, I love that the way they said it. It's one of those things where like this has happened on this day, which is the 22nd of December 2020 or 2228 or 2298.
It was
super way
2298. Yeah,
right.
2298.
And they're like, and apparently it causes a domino effect of planetary, let alone at a galactic, let alone at a megaverse level, because everyone within the megaverse feels these dominoes fall.
Well, no, they had
several years.
No, they had the math for that too. It was. I believe they actually listed it as it was 1,500 miles into the atmosphere is how far it went. That's why there's no satellites.
Because it shatters them.
Yeah.
Imagine imagine an electrical storm of that magnitude, or imagine a volcanic ash covering everything. I cover that one. I cover that one with my players all the time. That was the one big detail from Chaos Earth that I find I share with my gamers all the time is, well, what happened to all of the phones, the communication, the computers? Yeah, no, that storm, the ley line eruption, yes, it was 1,500 miles, not feet, miles into the atmosphere. So there is not a single you're not talking
satellite left.
And I could imagine how, the game says essentially some limited radio communication is established, but it's re-established. It's not they kept
as in it had to be rebuilt.
Time.
Yeah, it had to be rebuilt.
Like months, like a month goes by where the only way that you can communicate to one another is via a courier running back and forth between towns, and
if you're lucky, you've got two cans and a string.
Exactly. And it's so funny because the beauty of it is like, you're like, how did like the coalition become xenophobes? And you watch how Nima, who, like, how us human beings, we want to trust something. And how quickly, like, you sting us enough times.
Mm-hmm.
If we walk into a hornet's nest over and over again, thinking that the hornets are going to get along with us or something, or that the bees are going to eventually give us honey because, we keep coming in. If we're stung enough, we don't care about that honey anymore.
No.
And we will start fighting back, right? And you watch as they progressively throughout the many world books, how they point out the little tidbits about how guys suddenly start, becoming magically inclined, and how psionics they start out, instead of like the psychics of Rifts where you don't have headaches or you don't have nosebleeds or you don't have all these things. because the riffs are so incredibly powerful and so incredibly intense. Your brain is almost on fire or exploding when you first get psionic powers.
Yeah.
And you've got like world-bending psionic powers instead of just like
it's all the things.
affecting.
It's all the details that it doesn't talk about in the occupations and in the racial classes. You finally have all the details about, okay, when psionic powers or when magic first manifest, yes, you have to figure out how to control it, because if you don't...
Well, Nema starts putting people down who start exhibiting magic and start exhibiting psionics. And they start shooting those people. They're like, okay. And Timmy suddenly starts, because they're a threat to humanity. They can actually do something mean and not mean to do it.
Yeah.
They just know that Timmy is so powerful that he could kill the whole town. So they have to kill Timmy.
And so Nema is the coalition progeneration then.
Right.
Nema is where the coalition ultimately came from.
And the great thing is, because of the Dark Ages, the Dark Times, the coalition doesn't know their true origin. And when they hear about the Nemans, they think the Nemans are either a benevolent super race that came to Earth, 2, that they were aliens, or DBs that helped out mankind. They don't know that they human beings are the Nemans of the old days.
But in the
I love that.
Yeah, no, it was in the.
I love that weird separation.
And the Nemians being a super race, with the parallel that the coalition are very much like the Nazis.
Oh yeah, the super race themselves.
Because the Nazis they had that belief that's why they used the symbol that they did Shambhala, that there was a master race, that there was a super race, and this is what they look like, and they're the reason that we have But so the fact that the coalition view Nema like that is great. If you're a history buff,
I love that they turned the Samus into something, that the Glitter Boy is something, but they don't tell you where Coalition Deathhead transports come from.
They do not know.
Notice that? There's some tech that is left as a mystery, and some tech that you can kind of see between the two images of, say, in the Chaos Earth book and like Rift's book. You can say, Scalebots come from over here, and this comes over here, and this is how this connects, and then you're reading through the history, you see how there's like the separation or the threads of diversity between the various things and how that comes together.
The other thing that I remember is that it was very much. This is a shout out for those people. Some of you who really like the Macross and who like the Robotech.
Oh yeah.
Role-playing things and like that. See, because when they came out with Robotech again, and I know it's the same thing in Chaos Earth, everything has, or at least a lot of things have both an SDC value and an MDC value, because mega damage weapons in Chaos Earth, I know specifically, mega damage weapons, highly advanced technological weapons, were not innocuous.
Oh no! Not everyone had the weapons.
Everyone didn't have them. So in order to deal with these mega damage, contraptions,
and
you had because that's where you have anti-tank, the big huge anti-tank guns were a big thing. It actually lists the depleted uranium rounds actually deal mega damage, which is why if you're looking at heavy machine guns and really big, Vickers style weapons, they do mega damage, But again, I just kind of like the parallel there. Oh, and also, the Samus became a thing. The Glitter Boy became a thing. Chaos Earth, it doesn't call them that. They have different names because.
I love it. Like it's Silver Eagles.
This is what they were. They're not this.
Silver
Guardians. They're not what you see. They're not what you see in the game that you know.
Except
this is before
the boom gun.
The boom gun has always remained the same. Yes.
Now the Glitter Boy changes his name, but its look. Iconic.
The look did not change much. That is true. The look didn't change that much. But
if you read it in the main book of Rift's Ultimate Edition, they make reference to the fact that the Glitter Boy has been around for 300 years.
Yes.
And they don't know where they came from because they're dropping that hint saying, "Hey, I don't know." But to be a Glitter Boy pilot is a generational thing sometimes. You could say, "I am driving Grandpa's Glitter Boy." Yes. And it is in that awesome shape.
Anybody who's ever played Rifts has come up against that obstacle. Have you tried to destroy one of those?
No.
Well,
but okay, you know what?
You tried. Have you ever succeeded? Nobody succeeds. Yes.
It's a tribute to the golden age technology.
Yeah.
The fact that it can endure so long and be so resistant, and
they're like knights or samurai that way.
That's exactly.
Dad passes his armor down to his son.
It also makes reference in Ultimate Edition that Cyber Knights didn't come around until about 100 years into the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
Which means you're seeing, when you're playing this game, you really are limited to, well, not limited, but you really have the opportunity to explore the other OCCs that the Chaos Earth specifically gives. The Chaos Wizard, the I don't know, the Chaos Psychic, I want to think is what it's called. Something like that, Mind Melter. Basically,
that's effectively what it is, yeah.
But, and really have fun with that, saying, hey, here's these guys who are really trying to explore their world. And maybe you could start the adventure at, say, like a month has happened. There's still, you still cannot go into Wyoming because there's such a cloud of, darkness that covers Wyoming. Or you can say you can't really go into the East Coast or the West Coast because they're really,
tidal waves,
the tidal waves are still hitting the coast. But, you could try to go to where it's safe. Like, say, where in the world would it be safe? Oklahoma would probably be loaded with tornadoes.
Colorado, because that's where Nemo was hiding. Nemo was hidden away in the Rocky Mountains.
Okay. But earthquakes and whatever. Oh, I was thinking, you know what? One of these days, and I do want to do this, everyone rolls up a Chaos Earth character. Mm-hmm. And then... I
like the firefighter. The firefighter actually looks pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. And have players go from, like, say, Atlanta, Georgia, and try to get to Chicago.
Oh, boy.
And pick up people along the way and try to save people along the way. In other words, it would be a freaking huge caravan with, like, school buses and RVs and Glitter Boy pilots trying to help these people. And it would probably be a super slow thing. It's like one of those 10 miles a day kind of crap. Yeah. And you gotta have to figure out, I'm like, how am I gonna feed these people? How do I keep them from being fed to the monsters? Mm-hmm. And how do I keep my sanity when I had to put Timmy down for having super psionics or super magic powers or, I would love those moments and then watch as the players evolve from hardened soldiers to almost compassionate leaders as they finally arrive to Chicago, or what's left of Chicago. You could see that adventure, huh?
No, I'm writing something else down.
Chicago. And
no, so again, now again with Chaos. Have you ever run Chaos Rift before?
I have not. I have all the books, and I have not run it. They have some unique demons. They have some unique devils. I have the zombie source book. I have the demons and devils source book, because remember, there's a demon and devil war.
That's right.
World War I of sorts. Minion War is not the first Minion War. This is like Minion War 1 during Chaos Earth, right? So you have that going on. You have the zombie thing going on. You have everyone discovering their new abilities going on. And I think that if you had a somewhat of a self-discovery thing at the same time you're having a caravan thing, the story would be fun trying to get to that point. Because you could say, all right, you travel for X number of days. You finally get to, say, St. Louis. Now you discover the St. Louis Arch is Devil's Gate.
Yeah.
Tons of crap is spilling through it. And you're like, crap. I wanted a sandwich. I didn't want to come across the Devil's Gate. I wanted a sandwich. So then you have to take on Devil's Gate, or you have to figure out, how to help the people of St. Louis, or make some phone calls and say, hey, how many glitter boys are in the area? What are you guys doing? That sort of thing. And at the same time, you could then give all the characters, all your players, ranks of some kind, if they're Nema, or if they're like Nema affiliate, like a witch hunter or fireman or something like that. You can give them the lower ranks, right? The lower ranks. They're sergeants.
You just reminded me of Hocus Pocus when they make that joke. When the witches see the firemen walking around, they're like, "They're witch hunters. See, they have axes."
Oh no.
Yeah.
I think new skills would come through too. I think because
there
are
skills.
Witch hunters.
There are skills,
hunters, right?
There are skills in Chaos Earth
that are not in Rifts.
The skill list is different. Fun. The skill list is different.
And I think it would be a fun game. And honestly, if you were starting new in Rifts, you would get Rifts Ultimate Edition. You would get Chaos Earth. You would get if you just wanted to do Chaos Earth, there's just 3 world books, 3 source books.
That really is it. Yeah.
That's it. The one about magic, the one about the zombies, the one about I think psionics. Someone think of that? Or no, the demons.
Yeah, the
minion.
Yeah, it was the threats. It was the the emerging
That's
threats
it.
or whatever.
3 books and your main book. That's it. You would have 4 books, and you would be out like what?
Well,
no.
A
lot of money.
You do
because those books are pretty small.
You do a Christmas gift pack. So
there you go. That would be perfect because you get $100 in books.
You get $100 worth of stuff for only $60.
And for $50-$60. So
it's 60 now plus the shipping. So it was like 68 last time.
That's not
but
too bad,
you're still getting a heck of a deal.
Yeah. So and you would have all the means to play the craziness that happened after Christmas.
There you go.
And you could also go through the emotional things. You're like, hey, guess what, folks? It's Tommy's birthday. Little ashes is falling from the sky or whatever. You're like, hey, Tommy, I made a cake.
You remember?
Whatever, right?
That's one of the saddest stories. This is out of the.
It would be sad.
Well,
and try to make
remember,
happy moments.
Do you remember that one? It was out of the. It's out of the mercenary book because you read about those mercenary teams.
Yeah.
It was the demon hunters, if you recall. One of the demon hunters was Lady Arson because she's a burster. That's kind of what happened on her birthday. She forgot and used her powers to light the birthday cake, and one of her friends ratted her out.
Oh! Wow.
So, yeah.
Now, here's the other thing I would want to bring in, though. Would you want to bring in Rift's character OCCs, like the Burster, which is not in there. Can't be Burster if you're doing pure...
I think
Chaos Earth.
It'd ruin the tone. It would ruin the tone. Unless that was the game that you were actually doing, because the other thing that you could do with this is again now
because they have more than enough bad guys. You don't have to bring an ultimate edition.
Because the game right now it really is it's a man versus nature setting.
Yeah.
And Man versus the Unknown setting. That's
true.
That's more what Chaos
you look
Rifts
at a map and you
is
say
about.
there should
it's
be
more,
a city
it's
here,
more of a,
and it's like wiped out completely off the map.
It really isn't. Yeah, there really are no agendas. It really is. It's civilizations. It's Romulus. It's Nemesis. It's or Twilight Imperium. It's a colonization game. You're basically starting in the Stone Age, and how do you build your
maybe
how do you build your house?
You've got your space
how do you build,
tech,
and from your house, how do you build your amenities? And from your amenities, how do you build your town?
Right.
How do you build your city? Yeah, and so that's.
I think I the way that they've
Which I only bring up because
because
if there are people who are into games like Civilization,
this would be perfect.
Yeah, then
this would be perfect.
That really is. You actually can play Rift's Civilization. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. In one of the books, it shows you how to build cities. Essentially, all the adventures are about running around Chicago. You never leave the city. But all the troubles are in Chicago. I thought that was kind of cool. If you want to do just a city game, you're like, all right, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to be anywhere. I want to just save my town from the craziness that's uplifting, right? So
that's how I did my when I did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The last time I did that in World of Rifts, that I did it more or less the same way. It was set in Lone Star, and they never really left.
See, and that would be a good game. I could see you doing that.
That's why that was such a great game, because it was.
And the way that you could bring in either, you could say the Lone Star Complex is known or unknown. You could say people are trying to build Chi-Town, and you're like, you hear that as a ray of hope, a ray of something. Let's go. You leave Chicago and you go to Chi-Town. Chi-Town and Chicago are only 60 miles apart. You only have to go 6 days travel. By foot.
In all honesty, they really aren't
there.
And when you throw the burbs in there, they're really not separated, like not at all. So
no. I think that there's a lot of opportunity, and you're learning about fortified cities. Cities with walls for the first time. Because here in America, we don't have cities with walls.
Nope.
I know in Europe knows about those things.
Yes.
I know in Asia,
Europe, Russia, Asia,
guys, they know about cities with walls. We don't have those things. And if you're an American, discovering those things and watching as people suddenly want to.
No, however, in the earliest settlement days, though,
we made forts.
We made forts. And I guess that really was as close as we ever came to doing that, because the forts always had walls.
Our forts were small, though. I've been to the
small.
forts. Have you been to the forts?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, our forts were tiny.
That's really all it was. It was here. This is cover. We've got a couple of buildings in here to provide things like food and beds,
hospitalization,
and a hospital. Yeah, that's what they
don't
had.
Die.
There was like the medical building. Here's the place where there is medicine and like expensive stuff. There's this building here. This has beds in it. This is where we sleep, and this is where people can commiserate. And then we've got this building over here. This building over here is for food and ammo and stuff. And that was really it. That really was it. That was the fort.
It would be a great. I mean, it makes for great storytelling.
It does,
honestly. And that's why I had the Chaos Earth thing, is because I love good storytelling.
Yes.
I love the opportunity to when players discover the limits of their character. Or you say, all right, am I going to play with an alignment? You're like, well, I will still save Susie, but my alignment says I don't care. And there's that part of you says, okay, do you care enough to save Susie because of what's going on with Susie outside of your environment? Do you want to say, I sacrifice the one to save the many, and you let Susie die? Or do you say, I'm going to be a hero, I'm going to pull Susie in, I'm going to spare Susie? that story doesn't normally get told in, say, Rifts or in Heroes Unlimited or any other game.
Well, Susie's not going to last long enough to be saved.
You don't know, man. You're like, oh, I don't know, man. Maybe not.
You want to save the innocent people.
I do.
But if you've got mega damage fire rolling across everything, no, your chief priority is going to be like, I need to make sure that I don't die first.
Exactly. You run into a rhino buffalo for the first time, you're not thinking, oh, you know what? That looks tame. I'm going to go save Susie. You're thinking, Susie's going to get eaten. Well, you know what I mean? And if Susie comes back 10 years later and going, you let me to die and I survived, so now I'm going to kill you, get revenge.
Why did it have to be the rhino buffalo?
I don't know.
But you know what I mean. Well, yes, I do know what you mean. But what everyone else is probably thinking now that knows Rifts at all, you brought up the rhino buffalo. Your first question is actually going to be, oh, a real one?
No, a real one, because what? One? Archie is not making rhino buffaloes.
He's not yet. He's not. No.
Rhino. Archie's trying to keep his.
He is still.
Trying to save his own butt.
Yes, he is. Well, during the time of Chaos Earth, he would have been sending out his little human-looking
droids,
drones and droids and things like that. He was Amazoning the world. He was sending out his little.
Trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah. So,
but he said that very few of those came back, and the few that did come back told him that the world really had changed.
The world was upside down on its head.
Yeah, it really was. No, so so Chaos Earth is rifts before all the empires were established. And the thing that keeps going through my head, I don't want to butcher this here. I'll post this when I put this up on the channel.
And it's before the post-apocalyptic years,
It is, yeah.
So it's before the dust has settled and
you touched on the fact that there are psionics, but a lot of them are different.
Absolutely.
There's still magic. I love that magic list. That magic list was a trip.
Oh, dude, it's so awesome. I love create foods spell.
Yes.
It creates junk food, So guy shows up with fries. Why is everyone looking at me funny? Where did you get fries?
I believe it was in is that Simon Pegg movie at the World's End? Because at the end of it, the world actually does get wiped out, and the world actually does get kind of knocked back to the Stone Age. And Nick Frost is like, "No, I'm happy living off the land. My wife and I, we're happy. We're making things. I find I don't miss things until a Bluebell wrapper blows across the thing. Well, I don't miss things every day."
Crap!
Because for as great as it is living off the land,
that's one of those things where you're miss holding the wrapper and go, no.
He does miss ice cream. Yeah, so
I think you would have moments like that. It would be comical. If you did it right, it would be, instead of making it a depressing game, make a game that gives hope. Right?
Or it also, Chaos Earth ties well into Dead Rain.
Dead Rain would be a good one.
Not as
with their zombie source book.
Not as full Dead Rain.
No. If you use the
because I got this image in my head because I love the movie Zombieland, but in Zombieland there aren't zombies.
The zombies die.
But that's the thing. There aren't zombies everywhere.
Right.
You just come across them now and again.
Right.
But the thing about that,
they wrote the source book that way too.
Well, it's kind of another one-off idea I've just had for Chaos Earth, dude. If you want to be Woody Harrelson's character, and just be on a quest to find Twinkies.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, so yeah.
Because remember, the Coalition produces Twinkies.
They do.
Some 300 years after Twinkies has been gone supposedly, right? they've got their Twinkies, and they mass produce them, and then they give them to everybody. You can get Twinkies in the Coalition country.
Family Guy probably no. Family Guy did not make the joke first. Kevin did. There's a Twinkie factory in Natick, which is actually near. It's like in between New York and Chicago.
Uh-huh.
There's a town called Natick, and Natick is famous because it has a Twinkie factory.
Gosh, I remember doing a game, and I don't think it was Chaos Earth, but it was.
So my thought process on that was that the Coalition found it in Chicago, and they're like, "Hey, look,
let's bring that over here." I had a game, and I think it was a systems failure game.
Ooh,
that was fun. Where they actually came across a food factory, right? And they're like, "Oh, dude, we found food." It was a Twinkie factory. They're like, "Oh, crap. Well, we got sweets."
No. System failure and paranoia are actually good ones to tie in with Chaos Earth.
Oh yeah,
as well.
I almost would love the insects of systems failure.
Well, that's the thing, because when it comes to Chaos Earth, when you need because you're always going to need to spice things up with action. So in Chaos Earth, if it's if there are no established kingdoms, who is there to fight,
right?
Or who are the bads? The key now. I don't think any of the Chaos Earth books have this, and it's kind of a shame that they don't. But it came out. That's what it is. It came out in a Rifter. A Rifter I don't have, and I really wish I did. But in a Rifter, they came out with the new and improved creating supernatural threats and forces table.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
They have one in the original Rifts book, in that original Rifts core book. They have it. It's not in the Ultimate Edition, which kind of made me mad. They took that out of the original edition, because it used to be you could randomly roll some supernatural threat
and then just throw it at your players.
They took that out of Ultimate Edition, and I felt kind of cheated about that. But
so then get your hands on an original,
which is why
original hard copy expanded.
Yes.
Dude, you know what?
So that's the reason to have the hard copy of the expanded.
I would get both copies.
There you go.
Honestly, you would have a great time with both. You would learn so much. You would see the difference, but you would see the similarities too.
I don't have a replicate of that one, so I'll have to get one.
Dude.
But
I know that they're still
I know they're still there. Yeah, they are. That's why we go to the Palladium Open House, just to walk the lines and be like, Got it. Don't got it. Oh, there's the one. There's one I don't have.
You just go through the grocery cart and.
I'll go on the site and I'll recommend to Kevin that the open house needs segways. But
and grocery carts.
No. You just get your rascal. They have rascal parking of that thing. So which I like. It was great. So we talked about Chaos Earth. The things to do, what's there, and the origins. I'm trying to think. Is there anything that we missed? Because I guess the last thing, there really aren't supernatural monsters, but the magic and psionics and tech are still there.
The supernatural monsters. One book has the demons and devils. And I love how the demons and devils are completely different from the Minion War.
So it's
or
the
completely different from the Wormwood monsters.
That's what. Okay, but
they're still, they're still in that down that road.
So the supernatural threats are different as well. Okay, there we go.
I did like that. I like how they make them unique to that world. I want to say that world. Let's say world. And. So you can't just say, I've read every single Rift book, and I'm going to go into Chaos Earth knowing every demon and devil. And then when the GM says, look at this sheet, this is what it looks like. You're like, I've never encountered that. I have no idea what that is. Good for you. Yeah. This is an opportunity for you to learn what Chaos demons and Chaos devils do and look like.
So I guess for my 2 cents, when it comes to Chaos Earth, if you want to play Rifts without the BS.
Well, without
if you want to play,
without having to know
Rifts
the expanded backstories,
without having to know all the history,
because honestly, it can be overwhelming.
It can.
If you're like, well, which book should I start with? Should I get a conversion book? Should I get a dimension book? Should I get your poor little head's gonna explode.
Yes.
And I would say either start with a smaller system like Chaos Earth, or just relax. Just take it one book at a time and just have a good time with your one book.
There we go.
You don't have to have 12 books to play the game. And honestly, this current game that I'm playing with Fort Polk, honestly, I'm playing it with like 7 books. I shouldn't, but I'm taking little pieces from each book and I'm not incorporating the entire thing.
Yes, but that's a Rifts game.
Yeah.
For Chaos Earth,
all I need is main book and that's it.
There you go.
Throw out your monsters, and it does have a monster generator in that book.
It does, yes.
So if you want to just throw in something random, or maybe you want to make that specific for the adventure, that would be perfect for your game. Because I think all the elements are there.
And I think you'll actually find that your players will be very, very helpful.
Yeah.
When it comes to your bad guys. They will, they'll be glib about it, but if there's one way to, teach your players when to smart off and when to not to, it's to actually have happen the thing that they're jawing off about. I love it.
Right.
Created a bad guy in my Wheel of Time game that they had trouble getting rid of when they did that, and it was absolutely beautiful.
See, and I think a good game, everyone comes away from the table just laughing, patting each other on the back, talking about moments, and really feeling like the hero of the story. And I think that's extremely important when you realize that, yes, there wasn't the guy with a big old S that showed up and did the work for you. It is you're mortal, you're vulnerable, but you still saved the day and you still pulled it off.
Oh, yes.
That's important. And especially with Chaos Earth, because everyone is vulnerable in that game.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my goodness. It's not like that you're weak, but you are vulnerable.
Oh, yes.
And you can feel your vulnerability when things get tense.
Oh, yes.
And I like that. I like that a lot. So
fun. We might talk more about this some other time, but right now we're out of time. But that's just what I want to say. Okay, so that is Chaos Earth, which we've never talked about before, but we want to get that out there. And like we said, I guess for my own, I never realized how different it actually is from the actual Rifts system. But there's enough new stuff that it actually does stand on its own. So like he said, you want to. So like Nate said, if regular Rifts is very overwhelming because of all the books, Chaos Earth might be more your thing because it's Rifts, but it's Rifts in just a few books, and you don't have to know all the histories. And we also have to point out, but your government would like to remind you, for the record, we totally know our origins. We know exactly where we came from. Do not worry, citizens. Do not worry. Your government has everything under control. We didn't come
from Neiman's. No.
Right, no. And taxes are going to go down too.
Ooh, to like 0.
Yeah. Anyway, that is all the time that we have for you today. Hit like and subscribe on the channel.
That's right.
You can also
find us on Discord
you can also still find us on Discord and Facebook. We're both,
and we have a YouTube channel.
There. We do have a YouTube channel. So
come look at our YouTube channel. You can find us there. Guys.
Yes, and
we're getting out there.
If you you're all of you are always welcome to give us money. So thank you.
That's right. We do appreciate the contributions.
We do appreciate it.
It does help us buy new material, and look for new resources.
And like I said, I was at SaltCon. We'll be at TimpCon, and we also will be at the FanX this year. And
I'm really excited.
I looked up. Okay, they are still trying to have the open house, but the
for 25.
They are. The open house is still on for 25.
Okay, good.
Last I heard. So, well, we'll be at that too. But for now, this is what we got. Thank you very much, citizens, for joining us today. And again, hit like and subscribe. I'm Matt.
I'm Nathan. You guys
carry on, citizens. Carry on.
Take care.